Welcome. Welcome to Adrienne Ross Squared on this 4th of July, better known. Okay, I had a button there. Better known as Independence Day. Hello, join us in the chat. Say hello if you're here. Happy Independence Day, everybody. Holla. Short notice. So I know people are out there doing things. I know people are out there probably barbecuing, hanging out with family, all the good stuff. So yeah, Wendy is here. Happy 4th to you, Wendy. Happy 4th. Like I said, I know a lot of people are probably out and about doing wonderful things, but I did want to take some time and do this. Smoke is here. A is here. So glad you are here. If you are here, say hello. Christy King, bestie, is here as well. Yes, happy 4th to everybody. Independence Day. What do you guys? I don't know what you guys got going on today. What are you doing today? Are you out and about in the park and you just saw me pop up on your cell phone, so you decided to jump on? Are you absolutely just chilling out today? Are you going to fireworks? Are you going to someone else's house? Are you hosting? Are you doing absolutely nothing? What do you have going on today on this Independence Day 2025? Any special plans? Anybody? Christy King, you've got special plans? Smoke says, I'm a member. Why do I still get commercials? LOL. That's funny. Members, the commercials on YouTube have nothing to do with membership at all. The ads have nothing to do with membership. When I do and this is a different channel. This is on Adrienne Ross Squared, which is the second channel. But even on the main channel, there are ads, except when I do certain things exclusively for members. Most of the time I don't have ads on them. But yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer, but it helps pay the bills. So that's the thing right there. All right, so anybody got anything special going on today? I got 12 people in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button. Christy is going to her sister-in-law's house with family and watching fireworks. Excellent. Yeah, thank you, Smoke. But yes, those ads are a thing. They're definitely a thing. So yeah, I know what it is. So I hit the skip button so many times when I'm watching. Sometimes I let them run a little bit longer because it's good for revenue. Smoke says, just doing fireworks with kids and grandson later. That's very good. Excellent. Wonderful. All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to hold everybody too long, but I wanted to do this. This thought hit me to read the Declaration of Independence, which really isn't that long at all. And but isn't it fitting? Wendy is going to be celebrating with family, and she just stopped by here on Adrienne Ross Squared. So I appreciate that. But this is such a special day for Americans, really. I've already found myself in threads that are using terms such as, let me get it right. Using terms such as the 4th of July, which I'm like, all right, really? But anyway, yeah, I'm getting myself into threads with some people. They call it 4. I'm putting it in the chat. Look, this is what they're calling it. Happy 4th of July. So that's, yeah, I don't really care for that at all. Where did I put that? 4th of July. I'm going to delete it, lest anybody think that that's what I'm saying, because I'm not. But yeah, 4th of July and other stuff like, what is it? Posting happy 15 days after Juneteenth was another one. Stuff about Frederick Douglass saying just some negative stuff that I'm just like, really, guys, come on. timing is everything. And you can almost nowadays, unfortunately, it's like clockwork. When it comes to today, this is the time when everybody wants to air their grievances. Meanwhile, they're living the American life. They're making money here in America. They're off today from work. They're having a party and a celebration, but they want to say happy 4th of July. Things like that really, really annoy me, honestly speaking. Terry says, thanks for reading the birth certificate of our nation. Nothing special planned. Blessed in being American and blessed in spending a few minutes with you on YouTube. Thank you so much, Terry. I appreciate that. In my thumbnail, you'll see a picture of me sitting right where I am, and I'm pointing up to the blessed sign because I am blessed. We are blessed. Nothing is perfect. Nobody is perfect. Not your family, not your job, not your community, not your nation, but I'll take our not perfect in America over being anywhere else. And so absolutely feeling blessed. Smoke said, saw something that said a couple of Canadian provinces are interested in separating and can apply for that today. Oh, okay. Interesting. Hey, Kev. Hey, on this Independence Day, Deborah watching on television. Hey, Cat 5, happy 4th. So we're going to read this Declaration of Independence, which, like I said, is not very long at all. And I'm going to put the link if you want to follow along. It's from National Archives. Like I said, how fitting it is. It was last minute decision that I did. So wonderful. That's where it is if you want to follow along. Like I said, it is from National Archives, and there's a note that says Declaration of Independence, a transcription, and it says, note, the following text is a transcription of the stone engraving of the parchment Declaration of Independence, the document on display in the rotunda at the National Archives Museum. The spelling and punctuation reflect the original. So there it is. If you want to follow along here with the Declaration of Independence. Sometimes, if you had asked me a few years ago if I wanted to sit through a reading of the Declaration of Independence, I'm not so sure, going back 15 years, 20 years, not so sure I would have wanted to. But the more I live and the more I see around me, the more I see what's going on in our schools, the more I see what's going on with people's mindsets about our nation, the more I see about it, the more I want to show honor and respect to the country. Gardenia Blossoms, happy 4th to you, just in time. Few of us hanging out. I'm going to read this from the National Archives, and it comes from this right here, in case you're interested in checking it out. So here we go. Oh, Angela, I have my pocket constitution ready. All right, let's go. So this is from the original. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light or transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present king of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. Let me pause here. All right, so now we're going to give the facts to why they said we cannot continue under such tyranny. Here are the facts concerning the present king of Great Britain. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operation till his assent shall be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time after such dissolutions to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion. Hello, sound familiar? All exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of lands. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by a mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our governments, for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the laws of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, dissolution, and tyranny already begun, with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages, and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrections among us and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Continuing as we near the end. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress. I think I read that already. Yes. So it goes on. Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our emigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of injustice and consanguinity. We must, therefore, acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation, and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends. Last paragraph. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Yes. So that is the Declaration of Independence. And I'm just looking at some, I have my pocket, you got yours in hand. Happy birthday, America. Flags from Christy. I'm following along with you reading. Deborah said, yes, Dusty, by the big judge. That is God. Incredible. Thank you for reading it to us. Adrienne Smoke, you're welcome. Incredible. Angela, you know, it's interesting. I mean, when's the last time I read that? I guess high school. But I love how it is spread. It's stating exactly. It says if we are going to declare independence, then we need to put out there, we need to publish exactly why. And most of that Declaration of Independence was an absolute explanation of why we are going to break free of the tyranny. And this day forward, this moment forward, we're declaring ourselves that we have a right to, and therefore we take that right, declare ourselves free of British rule and free to declare war, to declare peace, to do all the things that free people are to do. And I absolutely love how this ends. I mean, most of us have heard, like, we could tell the beginning and the end, right? The beginning says, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands, right? We know how it begins, and we generally know how it ends. And I love how it ends. Again, it says, and for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Exactly. Yeah. Dusty says it spells out what's going on. Yeah, it's interesting, right? I hear some of this stuff. Christy says, you and I read it together one 4th of July. I thought we did about 10 years ago. I do remember that you had that. Yes, you had the copy of it in your living room. And King's Kid Girl, happy America's birthday, everybody. Absolutely. And so let us remember when we're out there, I'm not going to keep you long, but when we're out there and we're saying the 4th of July and the fireworks and the hot dogs and the hamburgers or the salmon, whatever it is, like I said, for those of you who are just joining me, I'm already reading comments calling it the 4th of the lie, L-I-E, all the stuff. And I think nobody's perfect. I mean, even when you read some of that, use of the word savages and things like that, some of the mindsets that were there, and some of that based on some behavior, no doubt as well. Not perfect. But I tell you what, I'll take the imperfection of America. I'll take the imperfection of America over anywhere else, because many of the people who are calling it the lie are living the dream. And there's a reason why there are people who want to come in here. And then the same people who are calling it a lie and calling it horrible, all those things, they're the ones advocating for people, even those who are not illegal, to come in. So the hypocrisy is real. Okay. Deborah says, I have never read this. At least I don't remember reading in school. And Deborah, as I was reading this earlier and all the grievances that were listed, I don't remember reading those either. Maybe they just taught me the beginning and taught me the end. But like Christy said, we did sit and read it one time. I just don't remember all the details. What is the lie that they're talking about? They're talking about America. They're posting stuff about Frederick Douglass saying, why should the black man celebrate America? They're calling it 15 days past Juneteenth, anything but Independence Day. So, of course, I had to wish Independence Day on that thread. And then I also posted a photo that said, so if the sun sets you free, you will be free indeed as well. That's where true independence is. True independence for me is my relationship with God. And so if for whatever reason they don't feel like they can celebrate the nation while they live here and reap from its benefits, then maybe they'll think about it in terms of their spiritual freedom. Dusty, that's why there's the Constitution. Yes, in order to form a more perfect union, right? We the people, in order to form a more perfect union. Exactly. So I appreciate a little bit of your time. I won't keep you long. I just had this idea. I said, let's read this declaration. It's not long at all. And it is fitting on this birthday of the country. One that I am blessed to have been born in. I've been to Africa, right? I've been to Zambia. I've been to Guatemala. And I can tell you right now, people in those other places look at Americans and they say, that's the land of opportunity. They might think some things are kind of wild, but they look at Americans in such a way, the general people, I can't speak for governments, but those general people look at us like we are living the life. And in comparison to other countries and other nations and other continents, even, we are blessed. Smoke says, after serving Ethiopia, Son said Americans don't realize how good they have it. It is so true. It is so true. And so it bothers me when people are dogging it. They wait to this day when people are celebrating to do that. And many of them are living so well here. Same thing with when we talk about sports on the main channel, the Adrienne Ross Show. Go check it out if you're not over there. The same thing over there with people who are like that, and athletes. Oh, I don't want to acknowledge this. I mean, I got my flag shirt on today. My pledge allegiance to the flag. Exactly. Christy says we will be 250 years old next year. That will be special. Yes, it will. So thank you all for all of your support. Make sure you hit the like button. It helps in the algorithm to get the word out so that YouTube, of course, shares it with other people. And then also, if you're not a part of the main channel, the Adrienne Ross Show, go check that out. Also, go enjoy whatever you have to do today. And remember how blessed we are. God bless you all abundantly, of course. And of course, God bless America. I'll catch you guys later, probably on the main channel. Have a wonderful day. Happy Independence Day. All right.